Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining me. Hope you're excited for this test match. It's been an exciting couple of days of cricket. I have to say, not only exciting, but surprising in many aspects. The resilience of the West Indies and the ability for them to fight back starting on day one, obviously. And now we realize that if they fight, if they play hard, they can be in a test match. Unfortunately, I will say unfortunately, as we unpack some of the things that happened since we were live last night, the West Indies found themselves in a great position, I thought. And at one point, you looked at the test match and you wondered if Australia would have made it to 200 runs, 100 runs. And so there's moments within this test match where they would have reflected on what happened yesterday and asked if they allowed Australia back into the test match. But the first thing I should say about this before I unpack a number of these things is most people don't expect this. So if you're being honest with yourselves, you're not expecting the West Indies to be as competitive as they showcased in this match. And so we shouldn't necessarily be ultra critical, but there are some moments in the match that we can talk about. First of all, thank you for joining me. Let me know where you're joining me from, your thoughts on this test match so far. And I want to go through a couple of the interesting moments yesterday before the day's play starts. We anticipate that play should be starting in another 25 minutes or so. I'm waiting for that on my stream here, and hopefully, we get to see some good cricket. By all indications, the journalists on the ground there are saying that it should be a very, very hot day there at the Gabba. Not a lot of expectation for any bad weather or any inclement weather, so hopefully that's the case. And where are we in this test match? I have to think about it in the context of West Indies. They're in a promising position, currently leading Australia by 35 runs, 13 for one. Unfortunate for Shanda Paul to be dismissed in the last over of the day. You think about what's going on in terms of the setup. I mean, clearly, we saw yesterday there Captain Brathwaite could have been out. So you think about Pat Cummins declaring, that's a bold declaration for him, as we mentioned, paid off in the last ball. But part of yesterday, after that early collapse, Australia 4 for 4, then 54 for 5. Lovely bowling in terms of getting them out. Alzarri Joseph, Kimar Roach, their impact. Let's talk about that. I'm wanting to talk about that. But it was a bold decision by Cummins to declare, and you have to say it worked out for them. But I think it's a test match of what ifs, especially from the West Indies. They could have been in a much more powerful position in this test match. Now they really need to be uh, putting in some good batting this morning. Hopefully, we get to see some top class batting and give Australia something to think about, because the wicket at the Gabba is really an interesting one. So far, the new ball talks. I think if you apply yourself, you can get into it. Right now, I'm just seeing the roller coming up there, and there's a morning a pre-game talk. I think I see Michael Vaughan. I'm not quite sure who else is out there. I'm not really paying much attention to that. Thanks for joining me, everybody. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button. That's the best way to support this channel. I cover a lot of things: cricket, track and field, you name it. I'll be try to be here. See Imran here early, my good friend there from Trinidad. Darren Summer is currently in Australia. Yeah, I mean, you have to think. I mean, the limited over series will commence just shortly uh, after the series wraps up, and hopefully, if you're a West Indies fan, you'd like to see the West Indies winning. I suspect there will be a result in this Test match. I can't see it anyway, other than that. Hopefully, we'll get some good resistance from the top order, and they can put on some good runs that would put in a competitive performance. And I think kudos to Roach and Alzari Joseph. There were moments in the test match yesterday where, the likes of Shamar Joseph didn't particularly bowl as great as you wanted him to do. But it's the second test match and we can unpack some of these things. But we could be in a commanding position, or we could be in a similar state where the likes of a Mitchell Stark, Hobbs, not Hobbs, what am I talking about? Cummings, Pat Cummings, and Nathan Lyon, and Hazelwood, who has to be the man of the series in terms of Australia and their competitive nature, in terms of his whole idea of a good summer for them. They could scuttle this West Indies team out, and we could be in some big trouble. So hopefully that's not the case. But let's go through some of these things. What are the highlights for you so far in this Test match? Imran is already upset about the openers needed to be dropped. It's an interesting question there. How long do you spend with the likes of Ashanda Paul, yet again getting out? You probably give him some more time. It's not a bad. The issues for me too, if I have to be clear about this, you have to have really good technically sound players at the top. For all the service from the likes of, say, a Craig Brathwaite now being the captain, you have to think his batting had improved somewhat. He's a guy that's mostly limited in certain areas, and it's on resilience. And if you have top class bowling, it can be exposed. He got exposed so far in the series in ways that you never thought. Flashing outside the off stump a little bit. That's not something that you thought about, his patience there. And he could have been out yesterday if who dropped the catch? I think yesterday was it Cam Green or somebody. So it's not what we want to see. I don't know who you replace them with right now, Imran. Yeah, both of them are average. I mean, certainly Shanda Paul had started okay, but now it struggles. So how much longer? And you got to work on some things there. But we can plow through this. Hopefully other people on the live will have some thoughts on this. We put everything on screen as long as it's clean. But yeah, finishing off yesterday, if we were to go back, I think making 311 runs, was it 311? West Indies could probably make some more. Obviously, there's that big mix-up between Roach and Sinclair, where at a moment it didn't seem as if the Aussies could have taken any wickets, and then eventually, Kevin Sinclair gets to his maiden half century on Test debut, obviously, and immediately after that he's out. Not much criticism you can give the lad. He comes in, he takes his chance, he batted beautifully. And so questions would have been asked, but when you think about the key performances for the West Indies, and if we go back into the first day, De Silva, Hodge brought them out of a massive hole. Sinclair, fantastic. Then you give the Aussies 311, and by all accounts, I was talking to a very good journalist friend of mine. We were trading some texts, and he thought he would have woken up to see Australia, at like 200 and something for two, and they were struggling. 4 for 84 for Alzari. Much improved bowling performance from him. The likes of Roach as well. Much improved from the first Test match. But the biggest challenge I had watching the West Indies bowl was they were allowing too many easy shots for the Australians. A lot of easy stuff giving away there. You think about what was happening in the context of a lot of half volleys, a lot of balls that were just a little bit too full. Basically, they were out there giving driving practice at many at different intervals in the game. And even early in the game, when the Australians started off, Steve Smith to me started off very well. He looked good as usual. Then Kemar Roach came to the rescue. in what we have to think was a really brilliant ball, because Smith is way outside his off stump there. Is like pushed way over, and you know, great LBW. Obviously, had to go to the DRS system. It's pretty clear that the umpire thought there was an inside edge of some sort, but that's what you needed, and that was really, really good. Alzari quickly after again doing some excellent work. And how about Kevin Sinclair? You know, thinking about his 50 runs on debut, then makes that almost full dive catch there, and immediately you're putting some significant pressure on the Aussies. So you're taking big scalps of the likes of uh, a Labuschagne and a Steve Smith. A word on Steve Smith and a word on the Australians, in the sense that how much longer will they persist with Steve Smith and this experiment at the top? Essentially, you're asking a once in a generational batter to now assume the leadership role of opening since David Warner is retired. I'm not quite sure if that's the place you want to put Steve Smith. I know he can bat anywhere, I imagine, but he probably would serve you much better. There's often this talk in Australian cricket, at least if it's, I mean, amongst the journalists and the people who follow Australian cricket, about the idea of fitting in a Cam Green in the team, and so Smith going up top seems like a logical thing, but I don't know about that, but we'll see. It's interesting. I think wonderful catch to go back to Sinclair. The kid must be chuffed at that moment. And, you know, it's a good ball. It's not an easy catch either, because Alzari coming in, steaming in, you know, it's moving fast to dislodge him. Crucial, crucial. And so even though the runs were flowing early at that point, and quite easily, in my estimation, wickets were going. And so let me get to a couple comments here. Let's see what's going on here. Good to see. Imran is saying we need Matthew Ford in Test cricket. Yeah, we'll have to wait and see about that. Good to see you get Mindset Media. Have some faith in Chanderpaul Jr. I think he is good enough and will show it soon if given a little longer run. And that's my position too, because here's the thing. I think about the idea of how long do you give some of these guys, and we also have to remember they're playing Australia. We're not playing a lesser pace attack. This is a high quality pace attack. Mitchell Stark, Josh Hazelwood, Cummins. It's not easy. No, most people struggle against these guys. There's some issues there, I think. I mean, I thought he got in the first innings. I don't know really. Let me back that up. In the first innings, when he and Captain Brathwaite started, I thought they were all over the place. Not quite sure what to make of it at that point. But once Craig got out, he started to find himself in maybe getting some confidence from a Kurt McKenzie at the time. Yesterday, it's challenging. It's really challenging too. And I think it's, think about it as a bold move from Pat Cummins, deciding not to complete the runs, giving his bowlers an opportunity to bowl. So it's a day and night test match. It's difficult. Ball moving around late in the evening, new ball. So they did the right thing there, and it's just unfortunate. I mean, we could have been down two batsmen, but yeah, it's one of those things. I think if you're a West Indies, you take it, but you hopefully the conversation is to be as circumspect as you can, and some control aggression, because Mackenzie's going to come in, and hopefully you don't want to take away from his game, but you have to think about his control aggression, the mental state, because I think that's probably where there was some challenges for his batting performance so far in this series. So to get back to your point here, I think you have to give him a longer run, and I think he might be there. Good for the future. I mean, he looks oddly similar to his dad in terms of some of the the way in which he's crouching over and so on, but that's not a big deal. I mean, I don't think stance position is often interesting. It's just whether or not at the end of the day your head movement is good. And I think it's fairly good. I mean, it's unfortunate for the lad that he got out. I don't know if they're showing that on the thing here. It looks like it's, but they may have been showing it. I didn't get a chance to see it, but yeah, you want them to do something. So I would say to wrap that thought up, yeah, a little bit longer. It's the same I was saying about even Agudikesh Moti, right? If you're gonna persist in West Indies cricket, and West Indies cricket is not a place where they persist a lot with spinners, you know, the last great spinner that stuck around in West Indies cricket is who? Lance Gibbs, right? So it's this idea that you're a pace bowling nation, and which is probably farcical at best at times. And so, how much longer will you stick around with him? I mean, you have to give him a lot of opportunity in order to make his way, especially for spinners. They need a longer time in order to make their mark. And bringing in Kevin Sinclair, I mean, so far the lad has been doing well. I mean, got hit around a lot yesterday. Finally got his wicket, and what a celebration! But I think the importance here is to think about the long-term development. Thanks everybody for joining me. I think I'm getting some more comments here. Let's get into some of that. What is Imran saying? Basically, we were not attacking the stumps repeatedly, plain and simple. Yeah. There's also rain in the forecast as well, so keep that in mind. I did see that, but then I saw another journalist was saying on the ground that it looks clear at the moment, a little bit of sunshine there. So hopefully nothing happens there. Kurt, good to see you. Thanks for joining. I think you're saying Shandapal needs a rest. He needs to go back in first class cricket to work out some of his batting weaknesses. Yeah, I think so. I think all of these lads need to play a lot more first class cricket, and we've been touching on this for some time now, in the sense that when you think about like Alec Athanaze, he should not be playing Test cricket yet. To be honest with you, the same for Mackenzie, the same for Shamar Joseph, Sinclair. All these guys need a lot more first class cricket, if you ask me. But this is the position of West Indies cricket where, as soon as you get any kind of small success or you identify talent, you like immediately get them into the team, and that's part because the team is always seeking somebody. There's a struggle fest going on for great talent, and then when you bud a few, the challenges of being a West Indies cricketer and not always focusing on Test match cricket or even cricket for West Indies in general, because there's a lot of opportunities as well to go and ply your trade and make a living for yourself. And I always say, one should not be upset at athletes trying to get the best for themselves, but you want it to be in a balanced way where they still recognize the value of playing for their country. That's how I would think about it. So I do hope that they would have gotten a lot more opportunity. I mean, in years gone by, this is like beating the same drum over and over again. But many of these guys would have gotten a couple seasons or two in county cricket or so, and then they would have experienced a different type of cricket, develop more as individuals, as men, and they would come into a team, and then you would also come into a team that was usually winning or had better players or more world-class players. So that transition into that team is easier, right? When you enter into a team that's been struggling for a very long time, it's hard. But I would say the first class season's coming up. They should be playing a lot of that, more cricket, and hopefully he can iron out some of those things, because I think he's one that if you fix these things, I think he has the good mental capacity to also stay there. We'll see. My issue is also on the Mackenzie kid, because he has a lot of talent. He's aggressive. I like it. How much longer will he stick around in a Test cricket setup? That could be challenging. As soon as many of these guys make some good runs, they're off to the IPL, and which is fine, and they're off to every league. But you think about this kid Mackenzie, he's good. and word about Chris Gale as a mentor and so on. I think there's a comment by someone saying that the sentiment is maybe he may not stick around, and especially if the opportunity comes to make good money moving from T20 leagues to T20 leagues. Yeah, we'll see. Well, let me get a few more of these. I'm saying Australia might have declared because there might be rain on. Okay, interesting. Yeah, could be. I mean, yeah, I know. You mean, yeah, they want to force a result. Yeah, we'll see. I mean, I think the West Indies should just apply themselves. A lot of expectation, not maybe not expectation. You would think the top order owes some runs, so Mackenzie should give us some runs. There's a few guys that need to deliver. It would be great to see Alec Athanaze deliver something special because he's a really talented individual, and hopefully we'll see what happens. Let's see what Curtis and Allen, and he needs more first class experience to be ready for international cricket. Too much batting flaws, yeah. These batsmen have, yeah. No, I think your sentiment is right. You have to work on stuff, and it's a continuing working on things. Even when you get to this level, you think about the likes of a Steve Smith. I always use this example. Thinking cricketer, always thinking about trying to reform something, fix technique. The same for Virat Kohli. We often think that once you get to the top or near the top, you just cruise for the rest of your career. And when you really dig deep and think about all of these great batsmen or batsmen who managed to be consistent at this level, they often talk about having to iron out stuff, having to think through ways to continue to perform well. I'm not saying these younger guys aren't doing it, but they certainly need a lot of matches for that, and they need the kind of structure. The batting coaches, these individualized batting coaches that always working on flaws, and yeah, lots of time in the nets, obviously, but we'll see. I mean, speaking about young cricketers today, before we even get there, there was an interesting, a really kind of interesting match this morning too. I got up and I saw the response from the West Indies under 19 cricketers there playing England. At one point, I thought it would be comfortable. They managed to bowl out England for 192, and they started off a little bit shaky, and then the captain was there. I think Pascal was playing a good innings. Eventually gave away his wicket, but I think once again the young lad Nathan Edward there was really instrumental, and West Indies kind of walked over the finish line at the end, but it was good to see. So they will likely, well, not likely, they will go through alongside England for sure, and then South Africa, and South Africa plays Scotland tomorrow. I mean, it's interesting. What about Nepal, right? Like, if you're following on the 19 cricket too, Nepal making it through beating Afghanistan today. That's an interesting kind of stuff. Let me get some more of this comments here. Thanks everybody for joining. Put your comments in. We'll get it on the screen, and we'd love to hear your thoughts on all things cricket and more if you want. These, I guess, young West Indies boys can take some confidence from this performance, at least up to this point. 100%. If we're surprised that they're actually in the match, that means they should also be saying, like, we can do this. And you rightly so yesterday we're talking about some of these things about mindset and belief and what you can do even when you're facing a much superior opposition. So nobody naturally thinks you could be serious enough to walk into Australia and beat them. They hardly lose anything there. India is the last team to go in there and actually do something. It's a tough place to go. Even when you're a great team, it's a tough place to go. So what I'm hoping is for more so than everything is that the lads can take heart that they came here and fought. Whatever happens in this test match, I mean, it would be great for them to win it, but whatever happens, they take a lot of victory from it, right? They see the positives and they look at themselves and they're like, next time I come here, it's a different story. And in the meantime, when they move up afterwards, they'll definitely improve when they play other opposition. Let's see. Brathwaite's place in the team should be. I think so. I mean, at some point too, you have to start moving beyond him. You start to think about who could lead the team. Maybe Alzara Joseph could be there, but at some point, we'll see. He's walking out right now, but Brathwaite, that is. Uh, but he needs to be making some runs too. I mean, he needs to be leading from the front, and not only against lesser opposition. We're talking about leading. You know, he has to be making runs against the likes of Australia. Today, I mean, I think minimum for him is a half century. You know, or you got to be there. Look at what Kawaja did. We didn't even get a chance to break down some of the Aussie things, like Usman Kawaja yesterday. And I know it's a different class in terms of batting there, but being that glue for the Aussies, right? Alex Keary coming in at some point, captain, fantastic for me in Pat Cummins in order to help the Aussies to get to certain levels there. So, he has to show up today. I agree. Imran trying to take it away from cricket. Yeah, Jurgen Klopp left Liverpool. It was a shock for many. I don't think people saw it coming. I mean, there's reports that he may have torn the ownership since November. Not quite sure. At first, I was kind of. I have to dig some more into this. I mean, Jurgen has done some interesting stuff at Liverpool. As everybody know, I'm not particularly a Liverpool fan, but if I'm giving a fair and objective thing, I think he's been one of the great coaches in the last decade or more so, from his time from Borussia Dortmund into Liverpool. They won a Champions League, they won a title. Yeah, they gave him a lot of time to develop, and yeah, so I think he'll leave an interesting legacy. Obviously he's the first manager for them to win a Premier League title, because the last title before that was in the old First Division for Liverpool. Where do they go from there? I don't really know. I mean, that's a thing that I guess the ownership group has to figure out. The challenge here is, initially I thought he alone was leaving, but then it seems as if backroom staff and other people may be leaving. So there could be more to this than meets the eye. His idea that he's burnt out. I don't know, but we can talk about it on some more later on. First ball of the day there. I think Hazelwood to to Mackenzie. Was it Mackenzie? Yeah, it seems like. Uh, what else is here? Why the third umpire cannot reverse his decision is what? Uh, I'm not quite sure what you're referring to there, to be honest with you. How the select has been vindicated for picking these young chargers to go to Australia. They got some stick for leaving senior players initially. Uh, yeah, I mean, I think so. Look, the selection in West Indies cricket is always interesting, right? The They had no choice, I don't think, right? I think maybe. I mean, you go there. I mean, who would have you? Who we left out? Because a lot of players didn't want to come. Holder wasn't available. Other players at the last minute, I think they tried to come back with something for the likes of a Darren Bravo, who also decided not to go. I mean, there's this kind of back and forth with that. But when you look at some of these guys, I mean, the younger ones are really young, but then a couple of them are like getting close to 29 or so. So it's not like they're that young. I mean, they're very inexperienced for sure. But I think I can't get into the heads of what they were thinking, but I think that if you think about you're gonna go to Australia, your chances you might lose anyway. I mean, you never want to expose people to be embarrassed. That's one thing. But what's there to lose? So you send some kids, yeah, and if you send them there, they can learn something, right? Yeah. I have to be honest with you. I kept looking at that Shanda Paul dismissal too, and like even though they were saying there was something on the hotspot, almost like I couldn't see it. Right? Like I mean, maybe it's just me, or I'm not looking quite as closely as I want as I should. Yeah. Ooh, that's an interesting ball. 4 runs there. Yeah. 4 runs. Did he get a bat on it? Yeah, I did get the bat on that. Yeah. Yeah. Uh, I did see that, I did see that. I think the selectors had gone in the right direction. We need to rebuild. No, I think you have to rebuild. You have to think about the future. And then you have to, when you start developing these guys, you got to keep them in the game, right? And look, I suppose if the likes of a Holder uh, didn't pull out, and if you didn't have injuries to like Jaden Seal, then we wouldn't have seen Shamar Joseph. Does it mean that we wouldn't eventually see his talent? I doubt it. I think he's really an interesting kind of bowler. I'm looking forward to seeing a lot more of him. So sometimes the quality would come to the top at some point, I imagine. But we'll see. Yeah. But I think they're right. You have to rebuild, find the talented kids, and now you're thinking about even this under 19 World Cup here. Who are the couple, 4 or 5 players out of that you want to see move on and try to fast track them into kind of an exposure. Like I just don't understand, and maybe it's my naivety, but can't we work out some deals to start sending certain players on a stints in other places, a little bit of time in Australia, a little bit of time in New Zealand, or outside of even like a cricket, right? Outside of that, right? Can they get a little stint? I know it's difficult, like county cricket has rules around it now that is much different from the past, and rightly so. I guess they want to develop their own talent, but when our first class cricket is not as strong as it should, and you don't play as many games as you need to, you have to find ways to fast track the development, because when you look at the talent from the under 19 and you compare it across most of these countries and the top countries as well, it's not much of a major difference. What happens is that development after that, where you just see endless amount of cricket being played by guys in India and in England and so on, and they're really being exposed to it, and that's what really gets them to the point where they're ready for international cricket. And some of the things that you're working on when a West Indian player gets to international cricket, particular Test cricket, is not something that they should be working on. It should have been ironed out already. And when you get to that level, there's only so much the coach can do, right? The coach at that level is not there to really iron out a lot of technique, but we'll see. Curtis saying Brathwaite looking lost at sea. Yeah, I mean, he really looked out of it in the first innings, and I don't know. I mean, it's interesting. Interesting. I mean, I think his decision making yesterday was good at the start, especially to leave on the likes of Akimar Roach and not switch out early. Roach eventually picking up those back-to-back wickets there. It's a good shot there from Mackenzie. It's gonna get to the boundary as quick as Marnus Labuschagne is. He's never getting that. I like this Mackenzie kid. The thing I like about him too is that he doesn't want to be bogged down, right? He's aggressive. That's a lovely stroke. Yeah. Yesterday we saw a lot of great cover drive. Yesterday was cover drives on display for sure. Yeah. The thing is, someone has to get into his head, right? And Brian Lara is there in the commentary. I'm not saying you can fix this, but he's certainly the one to talk to him. I think when you get on top of bowlers, when you have success hitting a couple balls here and there, and you feel comfortable, you have to realize that you're not really that comfortable yet, right? And I thought his mental. I think it was all mental when he got out in the first innings of the first Test match after getting to half century, and it was certainly mental when he got out in the first innings of this Test match, because he's flashing at 2 balls, and you're gonna get set up by Cummins. You're gonna get set up, yeah. But I think if for me to go back to your point here, Kurt, if we're thinking about Brathwaite being lost at sea, what he has to play, his role tonight as a captain, is to be an anchor right now. And I think if he can really get a good partnership going with, he's getting off strike really quickly there. If he can get a partnership going with McKenzie, I think he can do like the Usman Khawaja role yesterday, right? Hit the bad balls when you get them, just be there. His experience taught the lad through, because that kid will make shots. But that's my take on it. Thanks everybody for joining me. We're talking cricket tonight, but if you want to flip in a couple other things as well, I'm happy to talk about it. Lots happening in the world of sports. I don't know if you follow college sports too. Michigan got their new football coach. That's a lovely strike again from McKenzie. Doesn't have enough to get to the boundary, but comfortable 2 runs there. Yeah, they could have gotten 3 for that. I think they should have gotten 3 runs there. Yeah. Yeah, the running is slow. Brathwaite run fast, but then it's 2. They should have gotten 3 runs for that, but whatever. The day is long. Yeah, interesting stuff happening in track and field. Yeah. So that's a good question about Graves, Karl Myers. Does Myers want to play Test cricket? That's a question I want to know. I mean, he started off with a fly. He also was part of those guys who ended up going to, where was it, Bangladesh, just during that pandemic period, and was it a double century on debut? Yeah, if my memory serves me correct. I don't know. I mean, I think you you can't you can't bring the likes of a Greaves for the tour and not continue with him. I don't think, unless Myers is back in great form, and then maybe not. But I don't know, right? That's a really interesting kind of question. Like, what do you do there? Uh, you want him to make runs, but it's his first. It's kind of first tour, right? I mean, what's it? How old is he? He's 29. So there's an interesting thing there. So like him coming into the team, is 29. Interesting. Yeah. You have to think that unless he sets the world alight, he's gonna give you what, 3 years good, 4 years. I know players can last much longer, but I don't know, right? So there's this question, of what can be done there. But I like Myers when he came out. I think he's aggressive. He has some deficiencies too, but one of the things that I like about Karl Myers is, I mean, he can bowl. He's really good. He's accurate. He can move the ball around somewhat. So he's a really good all-rounder there as well. So it's interesting. I mean, I guess we'll see what happens with uh in the next series. We'll see what they'll do. Certainly Shea Hope should be in the team, I think. So that's the thing. You think about these, and nothing is wrong with resting like Alec Athanaze if he's not up for it, but he has to be in the mix. He should be. He should be there, even if he doesn't play. But the likes of a Shea Hope should be in the team. Where do you put Shea Hope? Does he bat at number 4? Maybe. Yeah, could be. Yeah. Just a quick update there on the England match, the England-India match. What's it? 423 for 7. India leads by what? 177. I mean, I think India is in firm control at the moment. I saw highlights of it. I actually haven't really watched that much because of it's going on at the same time as this match is going on. Yeah. What's a competitive run score here for West Indies? Currently, lead is 47. I'm thinking, yeah, competitive run scores. Smash the like button. Let me know. Smash that like button. Then give me your thoughts on what we should be giving the Aussies as a decent run chase. Yeah. Batting last on this pitch. It doesn't seem as if it's deteriorating much. but it gets difficult to bat on, especially at night. Yeah, yeah. No, yeah, I think you're absolutely right on that. I mean, especially batting talent for sure. Uh, you think Mackenzie can open the batting? Interesting. Is he ready to open the batting? I mean, like there's the sample size is so small in terms of what these guys can do. I don't know. I like him though, but I definitely hope can open the batting in Test scratch cricket level. Maybe Mackenzie can. Maybe, yeah. But that would be an interesting kind of thing. Yeah, that would be interesting. So Brathwaite is still on 4 off. Ooh, that's a lovely, lovely ball there by Mitch Stark. He's I don't know how fast that was, but it looked pretty fast. Had the captain jumping around a little bit. It's pretty good. A classic fastballer there. Getting the bat out of the way, which is good. But that's a fantastic, fantastic ball. That has to be very quick. Keeper taking that almost above head height. That was like 141 kilometers. Yeah, pretty fast. 140, 140, 142, 141. Ooh, lovely ball again. Some good bowling here from Mitch Stark. Yeah, I mean, Mitch Stark could be eyeing a few more wickets this test match. Get him up there alongside the great Dennis Lilly. Yeah. You don't see Hola getting back in the ODI and test team. Interesting. No ball there. Uh, that's, it's a good point. I mean, definitely Hola is at the point where playing across all formats is difficult for him now to do. But he's also wanting to play a little bit of going around the world if he can to, obviously, rightly so. But I mean, he's good in T20 as well. I mean, there's this kind of interesting control. And he's definitely trying to focus on this summer when West Indies host the World T20 World Cup alongside the United States. But I still think he can play some more Test cricket, and I think he still has something to offer. Obviously, his numbers in Test cricket has fallen off somewhat. A lot of stuff that Jason, in terms of his overall cricket in the last how many years, fallen off a little bit since he lost the captaincy. And he's a guy that had the captaincy for everything, right? So, yeah, quick single there. That's good running between Brathwaite and Mackenzie. Yeah, that's a good running. But yeah, back to that point. How old is Ola now? Is he what, 31? Is he 31? Or Jason Hola? Gotta check that real quickly. Uh, I think he's 31, right? No, he's 32. So interesting. He's 32. Uh, he's born in November, so he's 33 this year. So yeah, you might be right. Yeah, yeah. Oh well, that's a good question. Yeah. So if you have him, where do you put him? Yeah, yeah. Uh, I mean, where he usually goes, I guess. But I guess it also depends too, right? Like, I mean, there's so much cricket around. Well, West Indies don't play a lot of Test cricket the way they used to, but if we're gone are the days of these 5 Test match series, then you would, especially in the Caribbean, then you could rotate around because you think about. It's a good question. You have to think Kimara Roach. This might be it for him this year. I mean, maybe Hola can stick around as one of the bowlers, but I don't know. There's the youngsters coming in. Jaden Seal is probably going to come and take that frontline position, assuming he can get back to form. Uh, there's some interesting guys. You know, I don't know. I mean, good running there quickly. I it's a lot to ask because I guess we have to wait and see what happens in the first class season again. But I don't know. Interesting, you know. But you have him out of them. You think it's done for him. You think he should call it quits. Yeah. Yeah, there's a number of interesting guys that we have in the Caribbean that could play, that fallen off, maybe need to fix. Yeah. The O'Shane Thomas thing is really interesting. Uh when he burst on the scene, you thought he would have done much better. I thought he could have played Test cricket too. He's a huge dude, could generate some pace. Kind of reminded me a little bit of Colin Croft. Not in the same class. I have to be very careful when I say these things, but you see something out of him like that. Could generate some pace. Had technique issues. I think he also had issues with weight. Ooh, got ooh. That's an edge there, but found the gap. 4 runs, but definitely not in control. Mackenzie there. Yeah. Let's see. That's not a good shot at all. At all. No leg, no foot movement at all. Yeah. Hazel. This is the thing, you're giving them a chance. Mackenzie needs to concentrate because there's a big time batter in this guy. Yeah. Ooh, much better. A good stop there. Mitch Marsh doesn't stop that. That's going straight to the boundary. Let's see it again. That's a very, very good. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, thanks everybody for joining me. Who was just watching along on the cricket. Let me know your thoughts. Anything you want to talk about, I'm happy to talk about it. Yeah. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, McAllister is good too. What's that other kid that I just saw the other day? That Rutherford kid. Can he get into Test cricket? He was in the T20. Uh, recently, and I saw him in person too when I was in Trinidad. How old is he? He's like 25. Yeah, yeah. He's also another Guyanese cricketer. So, yeah, I don't know if he's good enough. I mean, there's a couple names, being tossed around. Uh, well, but if you think about the demands of international cricket, yeah, Shamal Holder too. Yeah, he too. There's a bunch of these guys. Uh, you really need. That's a good shot. Very good shot from Craig Brathwaite. Looks really good in that shot. Yeah, yeah, comfortable. But yeah, just to finish that point though, I think you need a good 10 high class bowlers to be in the mix at any given time, right? If we think about fast bowling, and so I think having said all of that, some of the guys that we're writing off may be still able to stick around for a little bit more, but you have to push, So I mean, you watch a lot more first class cricket than I do. I only get to see some of this stuff on highlights when I get a chance, or so there's some talent coming around. How quickly they can make their way, we'll see. Yeah. Yeah. And when you think about this under 19 team, can any of these guys coming at some point, but that's probably too early for them. Yeah. So far, what the partnership is 24 of 30. Oh, that is a gorgeous shot right there from Kurt McKenzie. You don't even move for that one. Gorgeous shot, sending that straight back down the ground. So, shot of disdain. Mitch Stark won't be happy with that. That's what, like 9 runs off the over already. Lovely shot. Lovely shot. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I really enjoy watching this Kirk Edwards. Not Kirk Edwards, McKenzie. Yeah. He is. It's a good comeback from Mitch Stark there. He is looking better. I don't know if he's more talented, right? I think Athanaze might be more talented, but so far McKenzie looks good. Sometimes it takes a while, right? We're talking about youngsters, you know that. So but yeah, he's taking his chances. I think he could make a big one. Like I think if you really concentrate, because he's not sitting back, right? He's really aggressive. What is it? It's 18 off 18. That's run a ball there. You can't complain. This is a test match. You can't complain about that. I think he just has to concentrate, and sometimes we just have to give the kid time, right? Because he's young. But this is what, third test match for him? Is it third? He played one, and he played, yeah. As long as he doesn't give away his wicket. So big, it's just all these old cliches, but don't give away your wicket, because at some point one of these guys are gonna bowl a Jaffa or something that you can't do anything about. Yeah, the lead now is what, 64 runs, 13 overs, 11 for Brathwaite off 35, and what's that, 19 for McKenzie. Yeah. McKenzie got more power to hit the ball. Alec needs more muscle to hit the ball harder. Yeah, but when we saw that, I think he can hit the ball. I mean, he definitely doesn't have the same kind of physique right now. Potentially, he will get that. But what we want to see from him is the concentration, right? And applying himself, because I think there is a serious batsman in Alec Athanaze. I mean, I don't know where his ceiling is, because we often don't want to put pressure or compare batsmen from previous generation. But he's special. He is special. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know if it's unreasonable to think that he might be one of the most talented batsmen we've seen since maybe Sarwan or somebody like that. I don't know. That might be, who knows? That might be too much, but he's certainly a talented cricketer with a lot of promise. So once he applies himself and he gets the right mentorship and he sticks around, you hope he can make a lot of runs. Thank you everybody for joining me. I don't know what other sports stuff have you been watching. I was trying to get a couple of stuff on track and field. I was watching a little bit of the uh some indoor stuff on in the happening now in the States here, but we'll see. Alec is skinny. He needs to join a gym. Yeah, I mean, yeah, he's a very tiny lad, but he may be lifting. Sometimes. So this is the thing about strength. No, strength is not always obvious from body type, right? Like he may be doing a lot of explosive work. Sometimes just to get much more explosive is the kind of gym work he's doing, whether he's doing a lot of Olympic lifts. Oh, lovely. That is a lovely shot. I don't know if he timed it enough. Is Labashane very good there on the dive? I mean, Labashane is putting his body on the line just to save runs. Yeah, yeah, very good there, stopping what was a certain four. But back to the body thing. Yeah, his size doesn't look as if he has any kind of strength, but he might be working on it, right? I think for me, it's less of how he looks and whether or not he's doing the kind of gym work, the strength and conditioning work that would make him obviously bat long, some more strength, be a little bit more consistent with his shots over time. But at the same time, that can't be the thing that overshadows his batting development too. So it comes handing on. Uh, I don't understand that. Like, why is Brathwaite flashing at something that's that wide? I mean, it's way out there. You're putting yourself at risk. If you get out on a shot like that, it's really an embarrassing thing. It's not. We're not playing T20 or something like that. Thanks everybody. Smash that like button. Let me know where you're joining me from. What is it now? About half an hour into play, and solid start by the West Indies. I guess if you haven't lost a wicket, solid start. The runs are flowing much faster with Mackenzie's 22 runs off of 22 balls. So, yeah. The optimist in me, or the idealist, or whatever you want to call it, is you would hope that these two can bat until the drinks break. Oh, that is such a gorgeous ball from Hazelwood. That could have took off a nice edge right there. I mean, Hazelwood is just such a great bowler. Yeah, such a great bowler. Ah, it's like shameful batting by Brathwaite. Also, I'm from Trinidad. Ah, cool. We're in Trinidad and Tobago. I really like. I come to Trinidad every year, once a year at least. Yeah, I was just there in December. Uh, my wife is from Trinidad, so we do go. I do come down there. I feel like I can be an honorary Trinidadian. That might be pushing it, but Pat Cummins decided to put himself out. Diego Martin, yeah, I know Diego Martin. Yeah, yeah, definitely know that. Yeah. Been all over Trinidad. There's some parts I may have not been, but I've been to Toco. I've been to this year. I went to Port Fortin rather for the first time. But yeah, I've been everywhere. I've only been to Tobago once though. Yeah, long time ago. Ooh, almost 20 years now. Yeah, you got to be this is where Mackenzie has to be circumspect because Pat Cummins is the bowler to take you out. He cannot afford to play around. I mean, lovely batting yesterday too from Pat Cummins. 60 something runs. He was really playing well for his team. Ooh, that's a good ball. Let's see. I want to look quickly at Pat Cummins again. Yeah, it was 64 for sure. Yeah, batted really well. Him and Usman Khawaja. You're right. That's all right. You know, like it's a sad sight. I was saying it yesterday too. Like used to come and it's really nice. What a lovely shot. I mean, it doesn't get to the boundary, but it looked like a lovely shot. I kind of took my eye off of it somewhat. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I do hope you guys figure that out. You know, it's. Oh no, it's not. It went up in the air. It's not as lovely as I thought. Yeah. Yeah, I'll take that back. Marnus has to be careful out there in the outfield. Yeah. Dean the Dream, good to see you. Hopefully Mackenzie can make at least a half a century tonight. Yeah, I think he has the ability for sure. He's, I would love to see. I'd like to see Mackenzie make a century tonight. You know, that would be special. Yeah, definitely would be special. Yeah, but first, I think the first, if we had to give a grading performance so far from the West Indies, first half an hour gone, they haven't lost a wicket, and so that's a check mark there. Small steps. The next step is to bat. These two should bat until the drinks break or whatever. That is a lovely shot. That is such a lovely shot there. Effortlessly. Just like puts the bat on that, sends it right back down 4 runs. Oh my gosh. That is lovely right there from Mackenzie. Yeah, I hope he gets 100 too. That is gorgeous shot. The lad can bat. Just don't give it away. Don't give it away. That's all I'm asking. Don't give it away. Yeah, so if they can get to the tea break or whatever they call it, and it's a tea break that comes first in day and night match, then dinner, right? Or something like that. So yeah, if he can get to that, if both of them can get to that point without losing a wicket, then that's good. I mean, I think you want to give the Aussies a 350 runs to chase. You know, that would be nice. Give your bowler some opportunity to do something, but who knows? I mean, this is a really pronounced follow through there. He's just like walking down the track. So Weston is currently leading by 73 runs. Yeah, Green is in the attack. It's very warm out there, so yeah. So you think Mackenzie could open with King against England and South Africa? Yeah, it could be interesting. Brandon King. Sometimes I have time for Brandon King, other times, interesting. And so, who would be next captain for you in West Indies cricket for Test cricket if you had to move on the likes of a Craig Brathwaite? Is it Alzari Joseph? I mean, a win here. Dean the Dream says a win here for the West Indies would be a great confidence booster. Yeah, it could be transformational. You don't go to Australia. So I mean, I think yeah, that I agree with that. That's what you want to see. I would just take not losing the test match for sure, not losing the test match. But I'd love to see them win this. But it's probably wide open at the moment. Yeah, yeah. And the thing about Australia is that it can get you out really quickly at any point in time. So we just gotta concentrate, and then they bat really well. They have some really talented batters, and if they need to chase down stuff, they can get it. You got the likes of a uh, you got the likes of a Travis Head in the team, Mitch Marsh. Those guys can turn that into one day in like 2 seconds. So yeah, gotta be careful. Thanks everybody for joining me. Alzar Joseph, the Silva vice captain. Yeah, I mean that could work. That could work. It was lovely to see the Silva and that fight in the first innings. Do you think we will lead by 300? I would hope so, Imran, because yeah, you never know. I mean, I would hope so. I think you need that at least. You need minimum three something to be competitive. That's a good shot there from the captain. 4 runs. Yeah, but I would say I don't know three. Can we get it? 400 would be nice, but I'm all. It's also that might be pipe dream. But I think getting past 300 has to be the bare minimum, in my estimation. Especially, you can make runs on this pitch. It's clear. It's clear you can make runs on this pitch. So yeah. So we'll see. Let me know how much you think West Indies will make. So far they're looking good. Oh, that is a lovely shot by Mackenzie. Such a lovely shot. Lovely shot by Mackenzie. And yeah, very nice. Yeah, I actually think Imran, the more I look at this, you probably need good 380, 350 to feel good that you won't lose a test match. Because I wouldn't put it past these guys to chase down anything. So yeah. I know it's late for you guys in Trinidad or wherever you are. Yeah. You think? Oh, very nice ball from Cummins to come back in the over. We're gonna win the ODI and T20 series. Uh, I don't know. I mean, it would be great if we could win. I mean, maybe it's just me thinking that it's just hard to beat Australia in Australia. I want to see the T20 in particular too. Obviously, I want to see the ODI. There's no question about that too, because that helps in the development of the game. But also, with the T20 World Cup coming in, it's another opportunity for West Indies to test themselves. They performed creditably well in the last couple series. Good leadership under Rovman Powell. It was good to see Andre Russell come back. But I want to see a bowler that can do something after the power play, after the first power play. Yeah, I think West Indies is short a bowler that can take wickets, whether fast or or a spin bowler, to really legitimately put themselves in the runnings rather for a chance at winning this World Cup. Obviously, the World Cup is on home soil for the West Indies, and you expect them to perform extremely well. But I still think they're short a key bowler. I don't know where you're gonna find that bowler from. I mean, there's also I was at one point we thought Obed McCoy could do something. He's playing right. I saw he played today, right? Was he? Where was he playing today? Was it in Pakistan or someplace? I can't even keep up with all this, but uh, I don't know. I think now would be the time to get a new Narayan. Oh, very lucky. Oof. How far? How Mackenzie got lucky right there. Pat Cummins, good ball. That went up in the air. Marnus could have, yeah, obviously dropping way short of Marnus Lavashane, but that could have gone anywhere. Australia ODI T20 is not all. I mean, it's true. That's true that Australia's been struggling in recent times. Not what am I saying? They've not been struggling. They just haven't been look. They don't look as imperious as you think over T20. I mean, ODI. I mean, they won the World Cup. I mean, what can we say? They're World Cup champions. So yeah. Mackay looking good, and he's bowling 90 plus these days. I'm sure he's that fast. Yeah, because he had he had an injury. Was it a hamstring injury a few years ago, or an ankle injury, or something like that? I mean, I really thought he would have been, one of those leading the line for the West Indies coming up into this World Cup if things were going as well as we wanted it to go. But that hasn't been the case. But there needs to be another bowler. You need another bowler who can do something. Thanks everybody for joining me. I see quite a few people on the live. Let me know where you're joining me from. I know I got a contingent of people from Trinidad and Tobago. Uh, Shout out to them. I have special love for Trinidad. I go there from time to time. Yeah. Ooh, a lovely ball from Cam Green, beating the batter of Brathwaite. Are they gonna go for the review? Is he gonna go? He didn't go. It's a little wobbling on the screen. Cam Green, he's gonna bowl a lot tonight, I think. Run rate is what? Just under 4.349. I mean, at one point yesterday, Aussies were going at what, almost 5 and over, right? So it's an interesting pitch. I don't know what to make of it, right? I think if you get settled, you can make runs, and if the bowling isn't accurate in the right areas, if you just go just fuller of a length, you're gonna get punished. You're gonna get driven rather all over. So I'm fearful of the kind of target that West Indies can deliver if they don't concentrate. So I think if they can really, I say 350 runs and better would be ideal. I think it's certainly possible if these two can bat for a long period of time to get to a point where you can put up a really big score, and then at the end you can get some of these guys just hitting really big to add on to that score. That would be the ideal setup, right? Where the top order delivers and the other guys just come in and try to make some runs, and then give the bowlers an opportunity to defend something. But my fear is that if you don't have a big score and you have a couple wayward balls, you're gonna get driven down the park. And Australia is full of guys that can make some big runs, you know, all the way down to Pat Cummins. Nathan Lyon can swing the bat too. So, yeah. Mitch Marsh can turn it into. You want a slugfest? He can do it. Travis Head, Cam Green, big hitters. So, yeah. You need a big total, I think. Probably need a coconut water. Should have brought up a coconut water. Yeah. Drinks are coming out. 162. Partnership is 49. 34 for Mackenzie. 15 for Brathwaite. So far, so good. We're getting on, what, 10 minutes to an hour or so, is it? So, yeah, I hope these guys continue to apply themselves. Thank you, everybody, for joining me. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button. I always say these things, but that's the best way to support this channel is just to subscribe. And if you're at it, hit the notification bell, because the thing about the notification bell is that you do everything in your sleep. It does everything for you while you're asleep. You know, when I drop a video, when I drop shorts, when I drop long form videos, when I'm coming live. That's lovely, lovely ball there from Pat Cummins. Yeah. I appreciate those who've liked the video. If you find value in the content, thank you so much. And obviously, thank you guys who are on the live, wherever you may be in the world, for sticking around so far, you know, having some fun watching the cricket, hear me talk about stuff. But I really want to hear from you as well. Anything you want to talk about. And if you want to throw in another sport here and there, hey, we can do it, right? Cricket is a long game, so we can always talk about other things as well. Tomorrow, Saturday for us in a few minutes. It's almost 1 o'clock in parts of the Caribbean, so I'm getting up tomorrow morning, and I'm looking forward to catching up on some track and field that I missed. Probably watch some FA Cup. Get to the gym. I'm not quite sure if I can make it on the live tomorrow night. I'll do my best, but at this time, I think it's a very unlikely, unless I come on very, very late for a short period. I gotta take the missus out. We have some plans, but I'm sure you understand. Yeah. So partnership of 50. That's very good. That's the first start, I think, to setting up yourself. And hopefully we can continue. It would be great to see another 50 runs added to this partnership. Pat Cummins, such a wonderful bowler. Oof. Very nice there. Very nice bowling from Pat Cummins. Yeah. He's forcing the batsman to drive. Edwards, could have nicked that. He's probably whistling, thinking that he got really lucky there. It's a lovely ball. Ball coming up to good pace too, I think. Yeah. Hi, everyone. Yeah, so Pat Cummins steaming in again. This one easily dealt with by by McKenzie. Just ducks out the way, almost like a nothing ball, you know. Yeah. He is 34 runs off 39 balls, the dream. I think, yeah, but I just need him to stay focused. I think we all need him to stay focused. He's a pretty good batsman in terms of talent wise, and so far, application wise, 50 runs in the first test match could have made a big score. Yeah, he just has to recognize that he's facing some high quality bowling, and just to do, not to force anything, because Pat Cummins will set you up. I keep saying it, but it's the honest truth. He will set you up. Hazelwood, fantastic summer. Let's see. Well, yeah, I guess that's a good point. I mean, I guess you could put it this way: either Shanda Paul or Brathwaite getting out early. Like the number three batsman in West Indies cricket is often someone who basically need to be an opener. Yeah, but I don't know if the mentality when you're if the mentality is different, right? So obviously, if you're a number three batsman, you should be able to take on opening bowling as well, because that it happens all the time, right? But at some point, you're hoping there, you're watching and waiting that some guys can take the shine off the ball and give you something to lay the foundation for you to come in. I don't know if it changes his mental framework if he has to open, but I think he could. I mean, I'm not seeing, and you can tell me too out there, I'm not really seeing big technical flaws that would say opening is not a thing for Mackenzie. So far, what I've seen in this brief stint for Kurt McKenzie in these three matches is more of a concentration issue, maybe a frustration flashing your bat around. But I don't see any major weaknesses that would suggest that he shouldn't he couldn't open or anything like that. So maybe you guys you're onto something. Maybe you're spot on this, but yeah. But like we've said earlier, we got to stick with China Paul some more. I would say, I think it's important to do that. But like all of them, like Athanaze as well, Alec Athanaze, they need to get back to some first class cricket, iron out some stuff, and we'll see. And hopefully they can develop from there. Thank you everybody for joining me. Mackenzie could be the key for the opening batting problem. It could be. It could be. It's interesting to think about the pool of guys that are young, the pool of guys that are who are missing currently, and the kind of blending that can happen. Maybe you're right. Mackenzie Hope bats at what? Could bat at 3 or 4 if he gets back in the team. Because I really think Shea Hope should be really playing across all formats. Oh my God. Why? Why? Gee, I mean, what kind of a shot is that? You work so hard and you're giving away the cricket. Broadway sits there, 54 balls face, out for 16, 93 minutes at the crease, and you just give it's just like a nothing shot. Nothing shot. And you're the captain of the team. West Indies lost his first wicket of the morning. I think I think I have to ask the producer to refresh the screen. It seems like, or maybe it will come up at some point. Because his screen hasn't showing. Yeah. How much chances they have to give to fail? I don't know. I would say 3 or 4 more test matches. I mean, I think he has to make some runs in the next couple of test matches. Otherwise, it's either some remediation type thing. I don't think it's a. So I guess how I would say it is that there are some guys that you want to develop. You got to bring them back out, maybe iron out a few things, and then maybe they can come back in. I mean, and he's still of an age where you expect that wouldn't necessarily be a problem. You could cycle him out for a little bit, but he's what 27. He's going to be 28 this year, so I don't know, right? Like it has to be a short cycle. Yeah, yeah. I hear you. I hear you getting frustrated on this thing. I mean, I can't disagree. Chandler Paul and Brathwaite must go. I have enough of these two snail batting. It's true. Like that's also the other thing too. Like you really, you spend all day at the crease and you make no runs, right? At least Mackenzie will just hit a few and then get out, right? But I mean, I'm not really trying to figure. I know that's probably tongue in cheek in a sense, but yeah, Dean the Dream is like Brathwaite is away sometimes. I mean, sometimes he is, sometimes he isn't. He's the leader of the team. I genuinely thought he's playing the anchor role in this, just not to give away his wicket. Turn over the strike as best as you can. Mackenzie will make some runs. And you stay there, you get settled. Because he's a settled batsman now. He's batting from last night, from yesterday. Comes back this morning, gets back into it. He's a settled batsman. And then he just puts that straight into Marnus's chest. It's like a simple catch. I don't know. It's a ridiculous shot. It is a ridiculous shot. It's one thing to protect the crease, but you can't even make Yeah, I get you. I mean, I know that is a legitimate comment, being the Dream. You must be able to turn over runs. If you're not finding boundaries, you got to be able to running in between the wickets. Yeah, yeah, yeah. This is the 4th match for Athanaze. He's one for the future too. I like him a lot. Hopefully, he can make some runs today. Hopefully, he can make some runs. Alec must come good. He's off the mark right away. Alec must come good, or he will be on the chopping block like Tegan Shannon. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I guess I see what you're saying, but he's only played 4 test matches. He has a best of 40, was it 40 something, I think. Largely he's getting out, so probably averaging 20 something runs. That's not good for your number 4 batsman. Yeah, he has to find himself, but he's one I think can play across all formats as well. Yeah. So the West Indies lead by 87 runs. I'm trying to look at this. Yeah, they're showing how he got set up. Speed pretty much almost the same. A little bit not as fast, but one is a little bit wider. Yeah, that's a really poor dismissal. I can't put it in any other way. I mean, there's other words we can use, but it's probably not best place to use them. But yeah, Mitch Stark comes back into the attack. I think this is trying to get either one of Athenaeus or Mackenzie. We shall see, but yeah, I'm very disappointed by such a good start. Again, the key thing in cricket is never give away a wicket, right? In the sense that a bowler will at some point figure it out. You get an unplayable ball from time to time. And so those are the ones you want to get out on. Hold your hand up and say, look, that was fantastic by the bowler. But don't put something into the throat of Marnus Labuschagne off of an easy shot. Like, don't do that. Dean the Dream is like getting really tough out here. He's like primary school cricket by Brathwaite. uh Correct. We West Indies people make too much excuse for players. Other teams around the world, these guys be back in first class cricket, trying to get back in the team. No, that's an excellent point. I think there's some kind of standards that we have to uphold. And the truth is, like, guys are getting into Test match cricket in the West Indies, and they're not averaging 40. They're barely averaging. You need to be have. You barely play any amount of first class cricket. We have to improve first class cricket in the region. You know that. I mean, I'm not. But we need more. It's tough. No one shows up for them. I only get to watch them on YouTube, and there's nobody in the stands really. So, and traveling across the region is hard. And I know they do it now where they can be in certain spaces to get a few games in or so. But yeah, I think you're right. I mean, I think Shanapal probably needs to step aside for the next series and iron out some of the kinks. It's not over for him. He'll come back. Brathwaite, I don't know. I don't think you're gonna get much better from him now. He's played what? How many Test match? Is the thing that you go down talking about Craig Brathwaite is his ability to fight and stick around, and that doesn't seem to be on display these last few matches. And when he looks as if he's settled, it turns out that he's not settled and he's giving away his wicket. So it's hard. But maybe at some point we may have to move along. Thank you everybody for joining me. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button. We're talking cricket tonight. I've touched on other sports too a couple of times. People are talking about football, or if you want to talk about track and field or anything, college sports, sports and politics, anything you want. I'm good for it. But definitely watch along tonight of the West Indies tour of Australia. Second innings of the second Test match. Unfortunately, they're only playing 2 Test matches, which is just really a sad state of affairs. I remember when I was a youngster growing up in Jamaica in the Caribbean, and I used to get up and listen to cricket. Used to listen to cricket. Probably in the late 80s, early 90s, I think. Listened to cricket with my dad. And then we moved to, fortunately you start to get the cricket on television. Yeah. So yeah, thanks everybody for joining me. West Indies have to start winning. Being a dream comment here. West Indies have to start winning in order for people to show up and support. But at the same time, tickets in West Indies should be free or at deep discount to encourage people to come out. No, it's interesting. I want to say something about this too. So I was fortunate to be traveling in the Caribbean over December. And I went to the Brian Lara Academy in Taruba, and this is an opportunity for West Indies to win the series against England. They were leading 2-1 going. It was a 2-1 going into that uh, T20 international. They probably should have won already, but going into that T20 international, there's an opportunity to win. To win. And I tell you, there was nobody. The stands weren't full. I mean, I bought probably pricier tickets than I should have. And then the West Indies had a discount going on at the same time. I mean, it's the first time cricket was in the Caribbean during that period, but for Christmas period. But no one was there, and then there's the mound, the grassy mound area, and I'm like, you should, I think a little bit more people came out for the final match, which West Indies eventually won and won the series. But that was T20, which people say is the hallmark now and the highlight of cricket. But they weren't there. And I was speaking to some Trinidadians on the ground, and they're like, well, if it was CPL, everybody would be there. So I don't know. I mean, that's a good question about what you do in these circumstances. I think also for first class cricket, which is 4-day cricket and so on, someone was saying this, and it's not my idea. So I don't remember who was saying it. I want to give them credit for it. But just know it, I wasn't saying this. I stole this from somebody, or I actually thought this was a good idea. The idea that they need to develop other grounds other than they need to develop the pitches at smaller grounds in the Caribbean. So, and someone was laying out like you could play where Yui plays in Barbados or other places, because when you play a, a game of cricket that's for first class cricket, and you're putting that in the Queen's Park Oval, or you put it in Sabina Park, or it's in the Antigua, in Survive Stadium, or wherever in the Caribbean you go, you're not getting anybody in there. So it's like if 200 people show up, if so much, it's terrible because it's in a massive stadium, uh, and they're not coming out. So maybe if you develop some of the smaller grounds, you create a better atmosphere, and you have to probably do that until the cricket starts to get better, right? You got to. That's why I keep saying you got to develop a lot more talented cricketers, and hopefully they can rise to the top. And then you start winning, you start being competitive, then maybe things change. If West Indies came to Australia, if West Indies win this match, then people be like interested about that. They might get excited. And West Indies need to start winning matches too for their own sake, for financial reasons, because then they'll get longer series, they'll go on better tours, and people will start wanting to play the West Indies again, right? Or coming to the Caribbean. But that's a Johnny Graves kind of discussion. Let's see what else we have here. If Brathwaite fails against England and South Africa, it should be over for him. I feel fed up of players, I guess he meant fed up, of players living on past performances and continue to be picked even when they're failing at series after series. Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah. Yeah, if he does, it's out for him. I think at this time he should be. I mean, any kind of succession planning in any kind of major sport or so should be taking place behind the scenes as well. And you have to start thinking, obviously, that maybe the likes as we've been discussing of an Nazareth Joseph might be the one to take over the leadership role at some point. His time is going to come. He's not young either, so how much longer will he stick around is also a good question there. Yeah. What else? We need a first-class team from England or Australia to play in the Super. That is what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. I actually really think you need something like that, right? Even if it's not the very best of players from Australia or wherever, right? Just to mix it up to get more players, different type of training and upbringing. I mean, it's a win-win for them too, right? And it's a win for us. I think West Indies need to identify 30, 40 players, youngsters, and just see, can they go play first class cricket somewhere else on a traveling team continuously, because it's not only just the development of the technique and whatever, but it's also the development of them as human beings, the ability to live in other places, to be away from home, to understand that you have to adjust to things. That's some of the big lessons. When you think about some of the greats of yesteryear and they say they went to England to play county cricket, it wasn't only that, the ball moved around in England in funny ways and you had to adapt to that as a batsman or figure out how to control. But it's also that you got to get on the motorway and go to another match, and you got to be on time, and the place might not be as warm as you want, and you had to adjust it because you had something greater. It's the adversities and the changes that develop you. It builds the toughness, it builds the character, and we need that. And obviously the Brits take it away for whatever reason, and we don't go anywhere else, and we have to figure it out. because we still continue to develop talented players, so we can do better. Yeah. Yeah, Joseph is still young, 27 going on 28, the England bowler and the supporter. Yeah, that's the thing. Like, those guys are still playing for so long. It's ridiculous. I mean, I think in cricket you can play for a very long. I think gone are the days when we look at age the same way. We see it across different sports. We see it with likes Cristiano Ronaldo, for example. NBA. Look at LeBron James right now. The sports science has improved tremendously. Individualized training, everything about sleep, this that you can monitor your diet. If you want to stay long, it's about commitment. That's a good shot by Athenaeus right there. Marnus again saving a boundary for the Aussies. They give him a very good standing ovations. I mean, I tell you, Marnus Labuschagne basically saves you 30 runs a test match, minimum. But back to the conversation, I think preparation, taking care of yourself, individual coaching beyond what you get. That's how you stay in the game long. That's how you improve. All the greats have that. So if you're not great, you should be doing what they're doing and more. They're committed. I'm not saying they're committed beyond expectation. That's what gets them to that pinnacle, and that's how they stay there. So I think a lot of these players, I think even Roach could last much longer. He seems to be taking care of himself. Like, there's ways to prolong careers if you want to. But at the same time, others need to be pushing them out, right? Yeah. England v India update. England 10 without loss, trailing by 180. Thank you for that update. My producer just put that update up. They were all out for 436. So yeah, interesting stuff. I really appreciate everybody joining me on the live, for sticking around, listening to what I have to say. I also really appreciate people who are joining in on the comment section. Make sure you're joining on the comment section. I know some of you want to join in on the comments, but you're not logged into YouTube. Sign up, get into that. Make sure your voice is being heard here. I do good live shows where I really want to have interaction with everybody here. And, I know some of you might be, whatever you have to say. I mean, don't worry about it. We're all friends here. And yeah, we'll be doing other live shows to track all that stuff. Looking for a bumper Olympic coverage this year for you guys this summer when I have a lot more time to dedicate on stuff. But yeah, West Indies so far leading by 95 runs. 2 for 73. Mackenzie on 38. Somewhat slowed down, especially since the loss of the captain. Athenaeus 6 off 13 balls. And Mitch Stark is in the attack still. Yeah. So it's a matter of thinking through what will, I think Mackenzie, if he applies himself, could make some big runs. I really hope he does. And I want to see Athenaeus. Ooh, it's a good ball there by Mitch Stark. Very good ball. Almost got him. Well, didn't really, but he's the thing about Mitch Stark, he's always forcing you to drive, making you play. It's a cliche. You got to make batsmen play. It's probably hard on the thanks. Yeah, subscribe to the channel. Hard on the players out there. It's pretty warm out there in Brisbane at the Gabba, the famous Gabba. I don't know what's you guys' favorite ground in Australia. I always used to think about the Wacker, the old Wacker, Perth, MCG, I guess. I don't know. Yeah. Or SCG rather, not MC. Yeah, Melbourne is good. Sydney Cricket ground. The Gabba is always an interesting place. Yeah. Australia's always have good facilities. Looks really good. It's like 32 degrees Celsius out there. It's pretty warm. What's that in Fahrenheit? And the humidity is high. Yeah. Dean the Dream. What is he saying? I remember watching cricket as a kid and wanting to be like Lara and Shannon Paul. Who do these kids have to look up these days? Well, I guess they gotta look up to other players. Thank you, everybody. They gotta look up to players outside of the West Indies. I mean, some of them may have grown up where they saw the back end of like a Chris Gale, probably. I don't know. Sarwan, they probably saw that too. Yeah. But we haven't produced any really world class, world changing kind of talent in a very long time. Yeah. That has to change. That's a nice shot there. Nicely. It looks like he's timing that good. Labuschagne again sliding. I mean, he must get a good massage later on. They gotta has his legs have to be stretched out properly. The amount of sliding he has to do. Yeah. A lot of good running there. But Marnus is very fit. Yeah. Guys, what, like 12:20 on my side? I guess it's 1:20 in other parts, and I don't know where else you guys are joining me from. At some point. At some point, I may be jumping off this live. Gotta get up tomorrow. A lot more sports too. But I do appreciate you guys for sure. Continue to put your comments in the chat. Continue to engage with the channel. Really hope Athenaeus can make a good score this match. You look at these Aussie guys, they're really, really, really sweating buckets out there. It must be hard. Steaming up. This is tough on fast bowling. Probably got to get in some. If I, probably get Nathan Lyon on, even though he might be getting put around the park somewhat. But this is tough. It's a matter. I mean, I think the last year is a matter about how you rotate the bowlers. Shorter spells. I think Pat Cummins have been doing a fairly good job of that so far, but it's tough out there. Yeah, it's like 90 degrees out there. For those of you who deal with Fahrenheit, feels like 101. That's a tough conditions to play any kind of sport in. So to ask these fast bowlers to run into, to ask the batsmen to be concentrating and batting, it is tough. Cricket might not look grinding at some point, but it's definitely draining on the body. Got to be very well hydrated, prevent cramping up. I suspect they're probably taking some gel packs there. Probably some of the gel packs the marathon runners do. If you want me to talk about that, I can tell you that's the science behind gel packs in terms of delivering this time release energy has improved tremendously in the last 10 years since they've been doing this. And one of the things that marathon runners in particular, and I'll cover this when I do a track and field live as well, or a video on this, is it's not having it upset your stomach when you take it, because some of these classic ones upset your stomach, the ones you might buy in the store, but there's been some interesting development recently. So I think when you look at these athletes out there, they can be able to perform much longer and stay in the thing much longer, because they can take care of their bodies really well. But having said all of that, 101 degrees, 32 degrees Celsius, or whatever, 90 degrees, but feeling like 101. It's tough. The humidity is like, I think I saw it on the screen earlier, like 69%. So it's tough out there. It's not a dry heat. Yeah. Hard cricket, hard cricket. Hard cricket to be playing. It's probably one of the advantages of winning the toss. You know, you're trying to avoid the hottest part of the day in the field. Good shot. Oh, that's such a gorgeous shot by Mackenzie. It won't get to it won't get to the boundary, but it was a lovely shot. Lion saves it. The 100 run West Indies are 100 run have 100 runs lead right now. Yeah, very good stop by Nathan Lyon, saving a sure boundary there. Yeah. Yeah, 41 runs right now for Mackenzie, and hopefully he can get a half century and move on. Same for Athens. Double G. You got the guy. Thank you very much. Dean the Dream. Mackenzie batting really well tonight. If it wasn't for him, West Indies would have had 28 runs right now. Yeah. Yeah, good to have you, Double G. He's repping Guyana. Yeah, you're right, Dean the Dream, though. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing about, you can't, occupying the crease is important, but if you're not making runs, what good does it do, right? Oh, lovely shot shot of disdain there from Alec Athanaze. Nice little pull there, and 4 runs. Athanaze up to 12 now. Yeah. It's a little bit too short there from Pat Cummins. It's a lovely, lovely, lovely shot. I mean, West Indies players, I mean, we grew up, we saw this anyway. It's always these stylish shots and the whole exaggerate. Oh, that's a lovely one too as well. It won't get to the boundary. Yeah. 10 runs from the over. Yeah. Lead by 107 right now. 2 for 85. West Indies batting good again. I mean, I think Athanaze has settled in, and hopefully he can develop this partnership with Mackenzie. I guess the next target right now for Mackenzie is to get his half century and move on. Athanaze, I think, needs to get into the 40s, get up to a half century. Nathan Lyon coming into the attack. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, if they really apply themselves and bat well, don't forget to subscribe. I think they can get to we can give them a good total, right? I mean, whatever happens, I mean, maybe I shouldn't go that low in my standards, but I mean, I'll be really honest with you. I'm very impressed by the West Indies' performance in this Test match. In the first match, it was basically Shamar uh, Joseph for sure that really kept us in the mix. This time, it's a much more team effort. Even though, I mean, there are other people who contributed. I don't want to, Mackenzie played a good shot there. Uh, Joseph with the bad five. But in this game so far, after the early struggles, and you got likes of a Hodge and oh my God, he's gone. Immediately comes on, he sweeps, he doesn't make it. Just as I'm praising Kurt McKenzie, he's given out. So review for the LBW. On-field decision is out, obviously. Uh, I mean, I have to see it again. He swept. Unless it's high. I don't think it's that high though. Nothing on hotspot. I'm gonna get Snicko right now. I mean, it looks out. Hold on. No, but so they're gonna do the umpire's call. So he's out. So he has to go. 515 wickets for Nathan Lyon. It seems like Mackenzie goes. He reviewed it. Umpire's call. So West Indies keep the review, but he got to go. Yeah, unbelievable. The umpire's call stuff is always interesting, but I'm not here for it. So 41 runs off 50. It's not a bad batting performance, but it's disappointing because here's a settled batsman that you think could. Did he really need to sweep? Why are you sweeping though? Like, I don't know. I really think it's a poor shot selection. And he knows it. I think that's part of Mackenzie thing so far. Every time, I mean, I think he's giving away the wicket. So what started as, I would say, a West Indies on, if you were going to go on points, you would say they would have been winning the morning session. Looks pretty even right now to me. Australia picking up 2 wickets. The captain goes. Now Mackenzie. And he was just setting up nicely with Athanaze. You could have seen it long term, right? He's getting there. He would have gotten to his 50. Athanaze getting into it now. And a new rebuild has to occur right now with Hodge. Yeah, it's unfortunate. Unfortunate. I know I'm like lamenting on it, but it's always the what happens. But Australia make the breakthrough. Congratulations to them. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know what most of these young batsmen today cannot play the sweep shot good. Why play it? I hope Alec doesn't try that, and also because he has an history of doing that. That's the question. Yeah, I just don't know why they play. Why was he? He's just settled, but there was no need for that shot, right? There's no need. It's it's tough though. I mean, it's at the same time you're being critical. It's really, it's also it's his third test match, right? So maybe like you would hope you learn this stuff in first class cricket. Yeah, Dean the Dream is like only De Silva can say. I hope that's not the case. I hope we don't need to see De Silva anytime soon. Let him sit in the dressing room. I think Athens, I hope he can score big. Hodge, let's see what Hodge can do. Yeah. Hodge saved us the last in the first inning, so yeah. Yeah. I mean, I guess not. I mean, if you had to be honest, it's both Hodge and De Silva that saved the West Indies in the first match. So I think he's back here with Athens. Hopefully, he can make some runs to 71 in the first inning. He was part of that 149. Was it 149 partnership uh, with with De Silva? I hope I don't see De Silva at all today. I agree with you here. I hope we don't. Hope we see De Silva tomorrow, not today. That is exactly what I want. I'd like to, I'd like to. What do people like to say? What's that? That's word. You gotta speak it into existence, which sometimes I don't know what the hell people come up with. But to channel one of those, let's speak into existence 100 runs for Athens and 100 runs for Hodge. If we get those, then we'll be in pretty good shape. We'll be in pretty good shape. That happens, then I'm probably pretty clear. That's a lovely shot by Athens. Good stop there out there by, I think that's what, Hazelwood that tries to get that back here. Or who's that? I couldn't see. Yeah. Kind of a standing leg pull. Athens now what, 18 runs. Yeah. Appreciate everybody joining. We've been on the live now what, just over 2 hours. And we've been having consistent people coming on and people engaging in the comments. Really appreciate you. If you like this, if you find value, best way to support the channel is to subscribe. At some point, I want to go to my bed. I gotta watch a lot. I got a lot of things to do tomorrow too. But let's see how much more I can do. Really appreciate you guys. Oof. That wasn't a great. Well, 3 for 90. Yeah, that I just they're showing a replay of the Shana Paul decision. Yeah. No, it's just it's 12:38 for me. Yeah, I'm in the Midwest, heartland of the country, crossroads of America, Indiana. Ooh, ooh. 4 runs for 4 runs for Hodge, but the ball kind of from line ball came back in, and just if he had another slip, he would be walking back to the crease early. Fortunately, it didn't, and it was a little bit wide of first slip or of Steve Smith, the only slip there. Yeah. I really will hope Hodge can make some good runs too, because his contribution in the first innings, obviously with De Silva, was really important. I don't know if he's handling Nathan Lyon well. I'm getting a little bit nervous with Kaveem Hodge, to be honest with you. Yeah. Very nervous. He's what, 30? 30. He's 31 in a couple of weeks. Well, they ended almost, yeah, debut at pretty much almost 31. It's interesting. Lyon definitely is getting some play on this wicket. Yeah, you got to be concentrating. You good foot movement. You got to be careful. Lead 116, 3 for 94. Pat Cummins into the attack. Oh, well, Athene is almost walking back to the to the dressing room. That's such a lovely ball from Pat Cummins. Ball's kind of moving that pink ball, and it comes back in. It looks like it looks a little bit wobbly. Yeah, yeah, nips back. Ooh, I mean that could have done anything. It could have taken an edge. It could be an inside edge. Yeah, that's better. Better defense from Athens. I mean, when you got a supreme bowler like Pat Cummins, you got to be careful. Got to be careful. Really appreciate everybody joining on tonight. That's a lovely shot. Very lovely. That's a very good comeback. No running involved here. Lovely shot by Athens. 22 runs now off 33 balls. So good strike rate there. So he's taking over from Kurt McKenzie clearly. Because he's settled at this moment. So hopefully he doesn't give away his wicket. It's a lovely shot. Good evasive move, the duck out of the way. Yeah. Doing Jeff. Let's get to 100, guys. Yeah. Yeah. Thanks for joining. Thanks for participating. Yeah. Oof. No run there, but I mean it's always a beauty to watch Pat Cummins just bowl. Yeah, it's very one of the great bowlers of the generation. Who knows? He may go down as one of the. I think he's going to go down as one of the all-time greats for Australia. You have to think, yeah. No run there, no run. Don't be careful. Yeah. Over completed by Cummins. That's what the 29th over. Still 3 for 98. The lead 120. Thanks everybody for joining me. Hope you're enjoying the cricket. Yeah. Hopefully. Thanks for subscribing. All of those people were subscribing tonight. Really appreciate that. I said back in the day when West Indies had 3 wickets down, we would have had 200 plus maybe 300 runs on the board. Definitely back in the day, yeah. Definitely going all the way back to Haynes and Greenwich, Viv Richards, Richard Richardson, or maybe even before that, who knows? The big cat Clive Lloyd. Good run there, good run, yeah. No, it's true. I mean, it's different era. Definitely a hard time to watch, but you gotta stick with it and hopefully they can come back at some point. You used to think that you could never get from bad to worse, but it's been tough. But there's still signs of hope. There's still some talent coming through. The big problem too is just the structural stuff too. The economy of cricket, and then obviously the big powerhouses in the likes of Australia, India, and England who really control a lot. And then if you can't afford to play players, then you start to think about them every time we develop or unearth rather another good or one or two good talents. They take their talents elsewhere and play a lot of franchise cricket, and so you got to get that balance right too. But certainly this match has been one in which the West Indies, for me in particular, and I suspect for most of you on the live too, and people who follow West Indies cricket, they are actually playing much better than we anticipated. And it's not as if they're, especially in the face of adversity, because they were really struggling in the first innings until Hodge and the Silva took them out of that rut, and even Kevin Sinclair, obviously, on debut, doing something there. So Alzari Joseph chipping in with the bat. So there were some really good things to be chuffed about, to be pleased about. And the bowling was good yesterday too. I mean, outside of a lot of loose shots, as I was saying, a little bit fuller than you wanted to be, fuller of a length or so, and just presenting a lot of driving opportunities. But at the same time, even though you think about it, you got to think the opposition is extremely strong. This is the best test team in the world. And like when you get an opportunity, you have to take it from them and continue to do the right things because they have solutions to get themselves out of trouble. And so they did. But yeah, 3 for 99 is not terrible. I think obviously Captain Brathwaite gave away his wicket. There's no question about that. Shandapal, I don't know what to make of that. That too, maybe it was a bit challenging last night. That bold decision by Pat Cummins to declare in order to take a wicket. And then Kirk McKenzie here, very settled and just no need for that sweep shot. Just certainly didn't need it. And so you look at the state of the game, and some of it was a poor decision making. I suppose that happens, but you don't really necessarily want it to happen against a team like Australia because they're really good. But the lead is 3 for 99 right now, 100 now. Yeah, getting to 100 runs. So I mean, 100 up on the board. It's really good for the West Indies, and I think they really need a big score here from Athens. A big score from Athens will do a number of good. Obviously, for the youngster, his confidence, his definite, most certainly his confidence, because Athens is really talented, and then it will also transcend, I think, into helping the team put up a good score. Lead of a 122. I think a minimum. I mean, at a bare minimum, you want to give Australia 280, right? I would say I would like to see a 300 plus. But the only way this can happen is that you need a big partnership between these two and get the partnership so much that it puts the West Indies in a good position that when when they eventually get out, the other batsmen can shift the focus of what is required for batting. And but if they just barely getting to a 40 runs here and then losing, then you will never get to that kind of score where you could, I mean, where you could really put serious pressure on the Aussies. But if these guys can get 100 partnership here, then that will push us to like one, about two something. That's 4 runs, but that's not. I don't think that shot was where he wanted it to go. 4 runs to Athens there, but if you can get another maybe 80 runs, get this to a 100-run partnership here, and yeah, I guess yay for the 100 up on the board, then you could get some interesting batting later on in the innings. Yeah. I don't know what's happening over in the India series. There was England 68 for 1, it seems like. Yeah. Yeah. But no, yeah. Cam Green wrapped up his over. Yeah. Yeah. It's good stuff happening. Thanks everybody for joining. Yeah. Yeah, just replaying that shot there. Yeah, I don't think that's where Athens wanted that to go. If he wanted it to go there, then it's really super accurate, but I don't think so. Yeah. Yeah. Really appreciate the people sticking on. We've been on the live for over 2 hours. Probably stick around and for another 7 minutes or so, depending on how I feel. You know. Yeah. Yeah, let's see. Would love to see West Indies continue to improve on their batting. Depth is what they need. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Yeah, dinner break soon or whatever they call it, tea break or something like that. Yeah. Yeah. Hmm. Yeah. We just need these guys to get us to that break, come back and continue to bat. (128-run lead, 106 for 3, 32 overs completed. Yeah. Don't forget to subscribe. Thank you. Really appreciate all the people who stopped in tonight so far. I think we've had at any given time maybe 1,900 people just coming in and out, and hopefully some and people sticking around consistently. So I can't thank you enough. And as I said, the best way to support this channel is to subscribe, hit notification bell. Yeah. Would you say Australian has the upper hand in the innings so far? I mean, I would say this for the morning session. If I was giving it on points, I think it's pretty even. Uh, but up to a one moment in this session, I would say West Indies were on top. But then, losing those wickets of Brathwaite and Kurt McKenzie, I think Australia is probably. Ooh, that's a close one. I think they'll feel okay, right? Maybe they come into the morning thinking they could like scuttle the West Indies out, but I don't know what their thinking is. But overall, I think the match is pretty interestingly poised, right? It started off with West Indies struggling. They found their way out of it. They got 300 and something. West Indies then, when they were bowling, had Australia under tremendous amount of pressure, right? It was what was it? What 24 for 4? Then it was like, then it went to like 54 for 5, and I think at that moment was when we needed to really think better with the bowling, and that could have set us up to bowl them out for a smaller total. But in the end, they fought back with Kawaja, the captain, Carey. So they have the quality, right? And then they declared. So I think at the end of yesterday, I would say it was evenly poised, and probably still is right now. Yeah. Yeah. The only way West Indies can get upper hand is if they really can stick at the wicket and make a lot of runs, right? Yeah. I think you really to be comfortable against this Australia team. Look, if West Indies could get to 400 in the lead, then I would say they can't lose a test match, right? But I don't think they can get to that. I don't think you need 400 either. I'm not quite sure what the magic number is because this Australian team is interesting. Yeah. I would say you want to give the ballers 350, and then that would be, they should be able to do some stuff, but who knows? Yeah, who knows? Maybe you get an inspired spell by Shamar Joseph, backed up by Alzari and Kemar. Obviously, Alzari and Kemar did gone. Dropped it. Very lucky. He put it down. If he had caught that, then definitely would be Australia's morning. Gotta see it again. So good edge. He got it. He was diving. Smith was all the way diving. Yeah, it's a tough ball. I don't know if he would have reached Usman Khawaja. So Smith comes across, full stretch, gets into the hand, but it doesn't stay. Very lucky. Very lucky. I mean, you gotta need luck, Sometimes everybody needs luck. So the question is, can he capitalize on it? So this is the last over before they go for the break, and as long as they don't lose the wicket, then I think it's evenly poised. Definitely got to keep the ball on the ground and definitely not getting edges. That was a good ball though from, what was it, Cam Green, yeah, and but forcing the batsman to drive. He's very upset that he didn't get that catch. Let's see. We need someone to make 100 and everyone chips in 30, 40s, 50s. Let's see if they've got the gumption. We aren't given chances like this to win. Yeah. I agree. I think somebody got to make a big score. I'd love it for Alec Athens to do it. He definitely has the talent and the ability to do it. If he can do it, this will be a defining innings for him and at a difficult place on tour in Australia. You want to make a mark here. You can do it here, then you can do it anywhere. And yeah, that's what you would want to see. Yeah. Well, that's dinner. Tea break or whatever they call it. I mean, the Aussies really had that chance to take that wicket from Athens, and they would have been running into the break. Very excited. Well, so we saw the morning session or the after not well, I don't know. I keep saying morning, but it's a day and night test match. So Athens 28 off 49 balls, Hodge 8 off 27. Hopefully they can come back out, kick their feet up, come back out quickly, and build on this partnership here. A big one in sight, I would hope for Athens if he can make a big run here, make some runs here. He needs it. I think he certainly needs to hit a half century at a minimum. Try to crack on, make some runs, and and put the West Indies in a strong position, I think. So the lead is 128. Yeah. Yeah, so good cricket. I think the cricket match is a fantastic match, to be honest with you. It's entertaining cricket. I'm not, maybe not as entertaining as what. Well, I actually don't know. I haven't been really watching the India England series that's going on. Yeah, but it would be good if we could make some good runs, and looking forward to it. You know, backing up that victory this morning by West Indies on the 19. But I want to thank everybody for joining me, for staying with me here. I've been live for 2.5 hours. I'm going to call it for this evening, on my side of things. And, remember to subscribe, hit the notification bell. And I want to thank everybody. And I'll see you guys hopefully tomorrow. I have some other business to take care of, but I'll do my best to be here and, rally.